Atlanta News First Plus starts now.
Thank you for joining me here at the First Alert Desk on Atlanta News First Plus. I am Maria Moreau with your latest edition of Catch Up Quick. We're going to go through the top headlines making news in and around Metro Atlanta. First Alert meteorologist J.D. Disharoon will join me in a few moments with your First Alert forecast. Let's start with a story that we have been following since Sunday night at around 7 p.m. This investigation now developing after a 3-year-old boy was shot near a DeKalb County gas station. Now, police have 3 people in custody. Atlanta News First Don Shipman is with the First Alert breaking news tracker outside of the DeKalb County jail where they're being held.
All 3 are facing a number of charges, including gun-related charges and assault. I want you to take a look because this is where the shooting happened, outside that gas station near that McDonald's. This is located along North Stone Mountain Lithonia Road. It happened Sunday evening. Investigators are saying that a heated argument escalated to gunfire. One of the bullets pierced a vehicle that was stopped at a red light, hitting that little boy in his car seat. DeKalb's police chief says that video surveillance led them to the suspects, now identified as 20-year-old Jonathan Tate, 21-year-old Julius Hughes, and that unidentified juvenile. Police also discovered a gun and additional evidence, they say, at a nearby home on Rock Meadow Drive.
The ability to responsibly leverage video, data, and real-time information will allow us to identify suspects faster, reduce investigative timelines, and hold offenders accountable more efficiently.
And that little boy listed in critical condition at a local hospital. His father is okay, was not injured in this shooting. The next steps in all of this, determining when those 3 suspects will make their first court appearance. That could happen today. We're here in DeKalb. Don Shipman, Atlanta News First.
And thank you, Don,
these
for
kids
that
have been through,
report.
the
All right,
adversity
let's
that
talk
they've
about
been
Gainesville
through,
High School
all the
football
different
for a
things.
moment.
I mean,
Coach
we'll
Josh
talk about them
Niblett
at
is
the end of the
stepping
year at
down
the banquet.
after 4 seasons. The high school said he will pursue an opportunity at the college level, and a report from Access WDUN Sports suggests that Niblett could be joining the coaching staff for the University of Colorado. The football team is currently being led by head coach and former Atlanta Falcons defensive back Deion Sanders. So meanwhile, the Red Elephants, they have a lot to be proud of under Niblett's leadership. They had an overall 45-9 record and 2 regional titles. I'm sure this is a bittersweet moment, but a big congratulations, Niblett, on this next step in his professional career. All right, let's keep things moving and talk about DeKalb County for a moment. Today is a very important day. The Henry County Board of Commissioners are holding a data center ordinance public hearing. Atlanta News First Sarah Hammond is in McDonough as data centers have been at the center of many debates across Georgia recently.
Data centers have been a hot button issue across Metro Atlanta for months now. And right now, Georgia is one of the leading data center hubs in the country, with somewhere between 100 and 200 centers in the state. Last month, DeKalb County leaders voted to extend a moratorium on new data center projects. Opponents of data centers say they're worried about potential health and environmental hazards. And U.S. Senator Raphael Warnock says Georgia is facing the largest demand for electricity, in part due to data center construction, and he's pushing to shield consumers from the costs. Despite those concerns, the Georgia Public Service Commission unanimously approved a $10 billion energy grid expansion by Georgia Power that would largely help power data centers.
Georgia is a great state to do business in, and that's why they're coming here. And the fact of the matter is we're just doing our job to make sure that we can serve them.
This is a very, very sad day for Georgians and for others, that so much has been ignored in this very rushed process.
This public hearing here in Henry County is getting underway now here at the Henry County Administration Building. In McDonough, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First.
And it has been 5 years since rioters stormed the U.S. Capitol, the FBI estimating as many as 2,500 people rushing into the building on January 6th, attacking police officers, damaging almost everything in their path. And lawmakers who were inside the Capitol to certify former President Biden's win, they had to be evacuated. 5 people died more than a day after the riot, and the Justice Department charged more than 1,000 in connection with that same riot. President Trump pardoned them last year shortly after taking office for his second term. But of course, this video kind of reminds you of where we were 5 years ago as we mark January 6th, 2026, 5 years since the U.S. Capitol riots. I want to talk about something that is making its rounds around Metro Atlanta and the better part of Georgia. Kids across the metro area heading back to school following winter break, and that return coming as health officials say we're in the middle of one of the most intense winter virus seasons in more than a decade. Atlanta News First Neomani Watson is outside Mary Lynn Elementary in Candler Park as school districts are urging parents to take caution.
Some school districts say they are working closely with health officials to report, monitor, and manage respiratory illnesses and outbreaks, but they're also encouraging parents to take preventative measures. Between October and December of last year, there were more than 1,500 people hospitalized for the flu and 29 flu-related deaths, according to the Georgia Department of Public Health. Health officials say a new strain and lower vaccination rates are also leading to more flu hospitalizations. To reduce the spread of the virus, health officials recommend washing hands often. If your child becomes sick or starts showing symptoms like fever, cough, sore throat, or runny nose, have them stay home at least 24 hours after the fever has resolved. But some health officials say the best thing to do is to get vaccinated to better protect yourself against the virus.
That's why I think wearing masks, washing hands, good cough etiquette, these are very basic things, very important. But flu vaccine remains the most important tool still, even if even if it's not a perfect match.
Health officials recommend to everyone 6 months and older to get that flu shot. Reporting in Candler Park, I'm Neomani Watson, Atlanta News First.
And thank you, Neomani. Let's take a live look outside at Centennial Olympic Park. There's the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Beautiful a day in Atlanta. It's looking a little cloudy, but a warm-up apparently on the way. First Alert meteorologist J.D. Disharoon joining me now with your First Alert forecast.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to be seeing clouds continuing on as we head throughout the day, which is some great news there. Honestly, because we're not going to see too much in the way of precipitation, maybe a little bit of drizzle, but the clouds are not going to be keeping us from the warmth. So that's some great news there. What we are going to notice is that the temperatures are going to continue to rise as we head throughout the rest of the week. And I'm talking temperatures back into the low, maybe even mid 70s for some of us. So that's definitely something that you'll want to pay attention to as we head throughout the next few days. Meanwhile, notice that slight 20% chance of a shower there. Well, that is because we do have a weak little disturbance that's moving through. It's not going to do much for us, but mainly from Metro Atlanta north, and I think even I-20 north, we'll see the chance for some drizzle, maybe a little bit of a shower activity like a sprinkle, but nothing more than that. So that's one of the things that we're going to be looking for as we head throughout the afternoon hours. So overall, that's your forecast for today. So it's going to be a nice little warm up, not the warmest we have this week, but we do have that potential for a little bit of a sprinkle and a drizzle as we head throughout the day. So let's take a live look outdoors right now. You can see we still have those low clouds kind of in the area, but the fog is slowly lifting out of the Metro Atlanta area. It is slow, but at least we're warming up. Temperatures right now, 53 degrees. That's about our average high for this time of year. So it just goes to show you, even at the 11 o'clock hour, we've already hit what we would typically see for the high this time of year. And we're only going to go up from here with that southwest wind about 9 miles per hour. But if you go down to Hampton, down near the Speedway, believe it or not, the fog is starting to lift here. I know you can only just see a little bit of the ground there. You can't even see anything in the distance, but that's actually better than it was just a half hour ago. So it just goes to show you how dense the fog really was this morning. And it's still pretty dense from Ellijay down into Canton, and then from the airport south, with the worst part of it really kind of between LaGrange, Griffin, and Thomaston, including folks over into Henry County there. So the good news is that will lift out. We're going to see a warming trend as we head throughout the week, but that warming trend is only going to last about 3 days because it's coming to a screeching halt with a cold front that's going to be bringing us the chance for showers, maybe even a strong storm or two as we head in towards Saturday. So temperatures out the door right now, almost 60 degrees already in Cartersville. That's where the fog is burned off. The rest of us, low to mid 50s. And we're going to watch these temperatures rise again into the low to mid 60s as we head into the afternoon hours. Where the fog is the densest, we're still looking at like 52 degrees, but Athens already at 56, Rome at 56 as well. Here's that graphic we showed you earlier. We're getting into the mid 60s as we head into Atlanta. So a beautiful afternoon in store. We're looking at 66 for Atlanta, 67 for Eatonton, 65 for Thomaston. And then 50s, maybe some low 60s up to the north. That's where the clouds are going to be the thickest today, and we're going to have the slightly better chance of rain. So that's going to keep those temperatures just a degree or two cooler than what the rest of us are seeing. But as we go through the next several days, yeah, we're going to turn the heat up. We're going to be seeing the sunshine come out a little bit too. I'm not saying crystal clear sunny skies, but partly to mostly cloudy skies over the next 72 hours. Once we get to Wednesday, means 72 possibly tying the record as we head into tomorrow. 70 probably a little shy of the record on Thursday, but look at Friday. We're going with 73. Some of the models are even warmer than that. So Friday definitely looks to be the warmest day and also the day we're most likely to not just tie a record, but to break it as well. So what's causing this? Well, it's high pressure, and that's really kind of centered over the southeast as we go through the next 3 days. That southerly wind on the backside of the high, that's what's helping to pump in the warmth from the tropics, and also there's a high level or high pressure system in the upper levels of the atmosphere, so it's kind of stacked with the high, and that's allowing the warmth to spread through the layers of the atmosphere and help to warm us up even more than we typically would see. But then things start to change. The high starts to move out, and here's our next system. So by the late week, it's already moving out of the plains, getting its act together over Missouri, and then that will slide down to the south and east as we head in towards Saturday. That will trigger a first alert weather day as showers and storms move east with that front. Recent models indicating that this front may slow down a bit as it starts to move through North Georgia. So what that would do is keep the rain in the area just a little bit longer, and unfortunately may lead to a washout for your Saturday. The other thing it'll do is it'll keep the line of storms from moving in until we get later in the day, and that's important because that's obviously the warmer part of the day, so it'll give it a little more energy to tap into. So we're going to watch for the potential for a line of, storms to move in, but possibly some of them being on the strong, maybe severe side of that. It's still a little too far out to get the best outlook on the dynamics for that. The probability of that, not high, but it's also not zero either, so something we're going to have to watch as we go into the next, especially the next 48 hours. Once we get into Thursday, we're going to get the high-res models coming in, and that'll give us a better idea of the dynamics we're going to have to work with and the timing that's going to be in play. Regardless, all models agree. By the time we get to Sunday, this is moving out. We're going to start the day mostly cloudy, end up mostly sunny, and as those skies clear, yep, you guessed it, we're going to cool things off. By the time we get to Monday, a huge drop in temperatures back into the 20s and 30s. For Monday morning to start off the next work week. And even though we're dropping our temperatures 20 degrees for the morning high or the morning lows and the afternoon highs, that actually puts us about average for this time of year. That's how warm this air mass is. So here's the big picture we're looking at. Temperatures today, mid 60s, 70s for tomorrow. Now for today, we'll go ahead and show you these again. Upper 50s, lower 60s where we do have the clouds and the better drizzle chance as we head through the afternoon up into north and northeast Georgia. The rest of us low to mid 60s. The farther south you go, the less likely you are to see any of that drizzle or mist. Tomorrow, we get a better chance of some warmth, and that's because 1, southerly wind, 2, that mid-upper level high moves in as well, so we're getting that reinforcing warmth throughout the atmosphere. And 3, well, it's just not as cloudy. So that's all going to kind of help us there. And we'll notice that continues as we head into Thursday. Now, by Friday, this is what looks like the warmest day. 73 in Atlanta, 75 possible in Eatonton, 72 possible in Griffin, maybe 73 or 74 in Thomaston, even 70s as far north as Gainesville, Canton, even mid to upper 60s in the North Georgia mountains. So it's a big warm up, but it doesn't last. When that front moves through, it gives us that first alert weather day for our Saturday. So take a look at this. Take a look at the timing. By Saturday morning, could be waking up with some showers already in play, especially in north and northwest Georgia. The rain chance increases as we head through the late morning into the early afternoon hours, and eventually that line moves through late in the afternoon through the metro, early evening for folks in Athens and Eatonton, and then by Sunday we start to clear things out. Again, though, I want to emphasize, Sunday's going to be breezy behind the front. It's going to be much cooler. Temperatures struggling to get out of the 40s in a lot of these areas, and then cold by Monday morning. So to start off the next work week, break out the heavier jackets. We're talking temperatures in the upper 20s to lower 30s, and temperatures getting back near 54 degrees by Monday with those mostly sunny skies. Again, 54 is the average high this time of year. So that just goes to show you how above that we are in terms of our temperatures. I mean, look, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday mornings, all of our morning lows are warmer than the average high this time of year. So we saw this back in December with the abnormally warm air. We're seeing it again, but we're also going to see that big cool down with temperatures back near average as we head into the, kind of beginning and middle of next week. So just kind of something to keep in mind. So that's your forecast as we head throughout the next 7 days. Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez, First Alert Meteorologist Patrick Pete will be in later on this afternoon, tweaking the forecast, getting better on timing, those dynamics for the possibility of storms on Saturday, and they will have your forecast for you on air and online. Have a beautiful afternoon.
Stay up to date on your latest weather from the largest team of meteorologists in the Southeast. Download the First Alert Weather app for hour-by-hour forecasts and join us every weekday at 11:30 a.m. on ANF+. You can also text weather to the number on your screen, and we'll send a link directly to your cell phone.